Welcome. Today is not a coincidence. If you're watching this video, it's because you were meant to see it. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, but right here, right now. In this exact moment. Maybe you've lost something. Maybe you've been questioning your purpose, your direction, your pain. And maybe you've even asked God, why are you so quiet? I need you to listen closely, because today's message is more than just a video. It's a message from above, not from me, but from the one who created you and still has a purpose for your life. No matter your past, your failures, or your beliefs, this message is for you. In the next few minutes, you're going to understand why everything fell apart. Why the silence had a reason. Why your pain was never punishment, and what you need to do next. This could be the video that changes your entire life. So, take a deep breath and let your soul listen. Because sometimes the voice you've been waiting for doesn't come like thunder. It sounds like this. Part 1. The pain you never talked about. You've been carrying something heavy, maybe for months, maybe for years. A kind of pain nobody truly knows about, because you've become so good at pretending you're okay. You smile at work, you laugh around people, but at night, when everything gets quiet, the silence speaks louder than your strength. Maybe you lost someone, maybe someone shattered your heart. Maybe the dreams you fought so hard for never happened, no matter how much effort you gave. Maybe you're exhausted from always being the strong one, while nobody checks if you're still okay inside. You prayed, you cried, you screamed into the darkness, and still, no answer came. You kept asking, God, where are you? And maybe, deep down, you started believing God forgot about you. But here's the truth nobody told you. Sometimes God tears apart your plans, not to hurt you, but to save you. Because what you were building was slowly destroying you. You were chasing people who never truly cared. You were walking into places where you didn't belong. You were carrying dreams that were never meant for you. So He removed them, not as punishment, but because He saw what you couldn't see. He saw the future, while you could only see the present moment. And now, you're still here, still breathing, still fighting. That alone proves you're already in the process. That's why you're alive. That's why you're watching this video. You didn't come this far by accident. God was working while you were crying. He was preparing you while you were falling apart. He was listening, even when heaven felt silent. You thought everything was over, but really, it was only the beginning. The pain you believed would destroy you is becoming the reason you're about to rise. And never forget this. Put God first. Before success. Before revenge. Before other people's opinions. Because when God comes first, everything else begins to align, even if it takes time. Maybe right now, you're still scared. Scared of the future. Scared of uncertainty. Scared of being left behind. But let me ask you something. When has the future ever truly been certain? We stress over things we can't control. But the truth is, control was never ours to begin with. All we can really do is surrender, not quit. Surrender. Surrender your pain. Surrender your expectations. Surrender your timeline. And trust that what's truly meant for you will eventually find you. Because it will, in ways you never expected. Through doors you never knocked on. At moments you never saw coming. You are not too late. You are not too damaged. And you are not forgotten. You are being shaped in silence, in darkness, in confusion. God doesn't reveal the entire plan all at once, because if He did, you'd probably run from it instead of walking toward it. So instead, He gives you one step, then another, little by little. That's not delay, that's love. And right now, He's whispering to you, trust me, you're closer than you realize. Part 2. Why nothing worked. There were times when you gave everything you had. You worked non-stop. You prayed with all your heart. You did the right thing, even when it was difficult. And still, it didn't work out. The relationship ended. The opportunity never came. The healing didn't happen. The people you loved walked away. And deep inside, You started asking yourself, if I gave my best, if I believed so deeply, why did everything still fall apart? Maybe you thought God was punishing you, ignoring you, or blessing everyone else while skipping over your name. But listen carefully. It didn't fail because you weren't good enough. It failed because it was never your destiny. It didn't happen because it wasn't meant to. What you were asking for was outside the greater plan God had for your life. You were praying for the wrong door to open, and when it stayed shut, you felt abandoned. But understand this. Sometimes unanswered prayers are the greatest protection of all. You didn't fail. You were protected. That relationship you lost, you have no idea what it would have done to your peace. That job that rejected you, you don't know the trap it could have become. That person who left you, you don't know what God saw behind the scenes. You were mourning a broken plan while God was quietly building a better one in the background. You see, God isn't only the God of your present, He's the God of your entire future. You can only see today, but He sees the full picture. So when you were crying, His silence wasn't meant to hurt you, it was guiding you. You can't build a strong life on weak foundations. So He removed what was unstable. He delayed what wasn't ready. He broke apart what was about to break. That's why nothing worked. Because something greater was being formed inside you. You wanted your surroundings to change, but God wanted to transform you from within. You kept praying, God, change my situation, while God was quietly saying, let me change your soul. The waiting, the confusion, the disappointment, every bit of it was preparation. Because God never wastes pain. He uses it. Your silence built strength. Your rejection gave you direction. Your delays gave you depth. Your heartbreak gave you compassion. You were never being punished. You were being prepared for something bigger, deeper, and lasting. And let me say this clearly for the person silently watching this right now. You didn't do anything wrong. You gave your best, and it still didn't happen because it wasn't supposed to. You are not being left behind. You are being guided forward, not by your own plans, but by God's, and His plans never fail. You asked for a blessing, and instead, He gave you a lesson. Not because He's cruel, but because lessons stay with you far longer than temporary blessings ever could. So don't look back with regret. Don't keep asking, what if it had worked? It didn't, and that may have been the greatest gift of all. You were saved from something so you could be prepared for something greater. One day, you'll look back and say, I'm thankful it didn't work out, because if it had, you wouldn't have become the person you are today. You don't need to fully understand the process. You only need to trust the hands guiding it. That's what faith truly is. Not complete understanding, but surrender. Surrender to the one who saw what you couldn't see, who blocked what you didn't realize was dangerous, and who is now quietly preparing something greater, something that won't just look good from the outside, but something that will finally feel like peace, truth, and real love. Part 3. The plan you cannot see. Let's be honest. You want answers. You want signs. You want to know if all this pain is leading somewhere, or if you're just wasting years of your life, waiting for something that may never happen. You don't want fake motivation or empty promises. You want something real. You want a reason to believe that your struggle isn't meaningless. So hear this truth carefully. The most powerful plans God has for your life are usually invisible at the beginning. Why? Because if He showed you the entire plan from the start, you would doubt it, fear it, sabotage it, or try to control it with your own timing. That's why God doesn't always give full explanations. Instead, He gives silent preparation. Think about a tree. Before it ever rises above the ground, its roots grow deep into the darkness. For weeks, sometimes months, nothing appears on the surface. People walk past and think nothing is happening, but underground, something powerful is taking place. The roots are spreading, the foundation is growing stronger, and one day, that tree suddenly breaks through the soil and reaches toward the sky. Your life is the same way. The reason you don't see results yet is because God is still building your roots. your strength, your wisdom, your character, your ability to carry what you've been praying for. Because without roots, success would destroy you the moment it arrived. You are not waiting for nothing. You are not stuck. You are being prepared. But I know what you're thinking. How long do I have to wait? What if I've already waited too long? What if nothing ever changes? Listen closely. Faith is not built inside comfort. Faith is built inside mystery. If you understood every detail, it wouldn't be faith, it would simply be control. But God doesn't want your control. He wants your trust. Not childish faith, but mature faith. The kind that says, even when I don't see anything changing, I still believe something is happening. Sometimes the process itself is the plan. It's not always about arriving somewhere. Sometimes it's about who you become while walking through it. Look back for a moment. Think about the things you once cried over, the people you thought you needed, the failures you believed would ruin you, the mistakes you thought were the end, yet somehow you survived. You healed. You learned, and now you realize those moments were not punishment, they were preparation. That's how God's plan works. He doesn't give you everything the moment you want it. He gives you what you're ready to carry when you become strong enough to handle it. You were never ignored. You were being trained. And if your life feels motionless right now, that usually means you're standing inside the most important stage. The stage where nothing makes sense. The stage where people stop understanding you. The stage where you walk alone. The stage where you feel exhausted but refuse to quit. That is sacred ground. That's where real transformation happens. It's not the beginning. It's not the ending. It's the middle, and the middle matters. That's where God builds warriors. That's where pride gets removed. That's where fake people are exposed and faithful people remain. That's where you learn how to walk by faith instead of by sight. Some of you keep asking, why is my life so quiet right now? Why does it feel like nothing is moving? Here's the answer your soul already knows. Quiet seasons are not empty seasons. They are holy seasons. They are the moments when God does His deepest work inside you. From the outside, nothing may seem different, but inside, you are being sharpened, molded, healed, and prepared for something far greater. Maybe you don't understand it yet. Maybe the pain still feels unbearable. Maybe you still feel forgotten. But you are not forgotten. You are hidden. Hidden from people who would have used you. Hidden from environments that would have destroyed you. Hidden from timing that would have crushed you. You are not behind. You are being positioned for something that requires more strength than you once had. And that's exactly why the plan is still invisible. Because it's not finished yet. God does not reveal unfinished work. He completes it quietly, then reveals it powerfully. So, don't fear what you cannot see. Don't fear walking through darkness. Because darkness is where stars shine brightest. The unknown is where faith becomes real. And silence is often where God speaks the loudest. You asked for a clear plan, but God is giving you something greater, a stronger heart, a wiser soul, and a foundation no storm will ever destroy. And when your breakthrough finally comes, it won't only feel like a blessing, it will feel like confirmation. Confirmation that every tear, every delay, and every silent night was never wasted. One day, you'll finally understand the plan was never missing. It was growing, and so were you. Part 4. When life breaks you, it's preparing you. You didn't break because you were weak. You broke because you were being prepared for something stronger. There are seasons in life when everything you thought was secure suddenly falls apart. The people you loved leave. The dreams you spent years building collapse. The things you believed would last forever disappear in a moment. And when that happens, it doesn't only hurt. It changes you. You stop trusting. You stop dreaming. You stop believing good things can happen for you. You begin asking yourself, what's the point of trying again if everything eventually falls apart? Quietly, you start building walls around your heart. Not because you want to, but because you're tired of being hurt. You've carried betrayal for so long it feels normal. You've walked with disappointment like it belongs there. You've learned how to smile while secretly drowning inside. But hear this truth the world rarely tells you. Life had to break you, because soft hearts cannot carry heavy purposes. The pain wasn't meant to destroy you, it was meant to shape you. You were being carved, not ruined. A diamond is created under pressure. Gold becomes pure through fire, and souls rise only after they've fallen. God wasn't trying to hurt you. He was removing everything fake, weak, and temporary. Everything that could not follow you into your next season. You had to lose certain people because their love was never genuine. You had to fall because your foundation wasn't strong enough yet. You had to go through the storm, because the storm was the only thing powerful enough to cleanse you. It all had to happen, not to destroy your life, but to wake you up. You were never created to live a small life. You were never meant to stay in places where your light had to be hidden just to be accepted. You were never supposed to depend on people who never even prayed for you. That's why everything fell apart. Because God could not allow you to build your future on false foundations. He couldn't let you spend your entire life trapped in circles. He couldn't let you settle for less than the purpose He created you for. So He allowed the pain, not to punish you, but to separate you from everything that wasn't part of your destiny. I know it felt cruel. I know it felt unfair. I know it felt like your entire world was collapsing all at once. But in that exact moment, when you felt completely empty, something new was being born inside you. Not in a religious way, but in the deepest part of your soul. The old version of you, the one begging for love, the one desperate for approval, the one terrified of being alone. That version needed to break so the real version of you could rise. The version that walks in faith. The version that no longer depends on validation. The version that trusts God, even when life makes no sense. Sometimes healing takes time. Sometimes the process feels endless. But that's because something deep is changing inside you. You are not just recovering, you are rebuilding. You're learning how to protect your peace, how to love yourself without begging others for attention, how to choose growth over comfort, how to stay calm and still remain strong. When life breaks you, two things can happen. You can become bitter, or you can become blessed. Pain can harden your heart, or it can awaken your spirit. The choice is yours. But if you're still here watching this right now, then maybe your soul is finally ready to heal. You didn't survive all this just to stay broken. You didn't walk through fire just to return to the person you used to be. You made it this far because something inside you refused to quit. Something inside kept whispering, "This is not the end. Somehow going to rise again." And here you are, not perfect, not fully healed, but still standing. And that means you are not defeated. You are being rebuilt. Broken dreams do not mean your purpose is over. They simply mean your old path has ended, and a new one is beginning. You are gaining strength, wisdom, patience, discernment, and most importantly, faith. So if life shattered you, people hurt you, if everything fell apart and you barely recognize yourself anymore, understand this: you are exactly where transformation begins. And when you rise from this season, you won't only be stronger, you'll be clearer, calmer, and more connected to your true purpose. Don't be ashamed of your brokenness. It's part of your testimony. It's your rebirth. The most beautiful souls are not the ones who never suffered. They are the ones who suffered deeply and still chose to love again. You are not damaged beyond repair. You are being rebuilt for a purpose greater than you can currently understand. And one day, you will thank the pain, not because it was easy, but because it shaped you into the strongest version of yourself, the person you were always meant to become. Part 5. God was always working in silence. There is something sacred about silence. It doesn't feel comforting. It doesn't feel loving. It feels lonely. It feels like abandonment. It feels like nobody hears you, not even God. And maybe that's exactly where you are right now, praying and hearing nothing, hoping and seeing nothing, trying to hold on while everything slips through your hands. You whispered, "God, where are you? Why is this happening to me? Why do I feel completely alone?" But here is the truth. Your pain never allowed you to see. He was always there, not in the noise, not in the chaos, but in the stillness, in the quiet places where faith is born. Because the greatest miracles are usually silent. A seed breaks open in silence. A heart heals in silence. And God often moves silently while your entire life feels like it's falling apart. While you were breaking, He was building. While you were losing, He was removing what could never go with you. While you were crying, He was collecting every tear, and not one of them was wasted. You thought He forgot you, but He was actually protecting you. Protecting you from fake friendships, dangerous roads, and things you begged for that would have destroyed your soul. He didn't say yes because He loved you too much to hand you something you weren't ready for. And now, yet you, stronger, not because the pain disappeared, but because you kept going. You are here by divine timing, still breathing, still believing, still standing after everything tried to bury you. And you've reached this moment for one reason: to finally realize you were never alone. Even in your darkest valley, even when nobody checked on you, even when you had nothing left to give, God never left your side. Not once, not even for a second. He allowed you to fall, but not completely. He allowed you to break, but only so He could rebuild you without the lies. He allowed you to feel lost, so you would stop looking everywhere else and finally look up. Because the truth is, you were depending on things that could never save you. And now, you are being called towards something greater. Not comfort, not approval, not temporary safety, but purpose. So what do you do now? Now that you understand, the silence was never the ending, but the beginning. You do the one thing the world fears most. You surrender, not quitting, not running away, but surrendering your need to control everything, your need to understand every detail, and your fear of the future, your anger toward the past, your pain, your shattered pieces. Place all of it into God's hands and say, I don't know what comes next, but I trust you with all of it. And then you begin again, slowly, quietly, but this time with peace inside your heart. You stop asking when. You stop demanding answers. You stop comparing your journey to someone else's timeline. You stop chasing things that were never truly meant for you. And instead, you begin walking forward, not with certainty, but with faith. Faith that what belongs to you will never pass you by. Faith that every closed door was not rejection, but redirection. Faith that the silence was never abandonment, but protection. And every single day, you do the one thing you were truly created to do. You place God first, before success, before relationships, before people's opinions, before everything else. Because He is the one who gave you this breath and trusted you to carry this pain for a greater reason. If you are still here today, then your story is not over. That means the hardest moment of your life was never the final chapter. Let me share a short story with you, one that reveals what real faith and trust look like. Even in the middle of chaos, there was once a courageous naval officer who had recently gotten married. Not long after the wedding, he brought his wife with him on his very first journey across the sea. It was her first experience on the ocean. In the beginning, everything felt calm and beautiful. Blue skies above them, gentle waves below, soft winds moving through the air. But suddenly, a terrible storm appeared over the ocean. The sky grew dark. The waves rose higher than the ship itself. Thunder exploded through the air, and lightning lit up the sky from every direction. The ship started shaking violently. Fear spread across everyone on board. Passengers screamed. Some held each other tightly while praying in panic. But one person remained completely calm, the sailor. He stood there quietly, steady and fearless, almost as if the storm itself didn't bother him. His wife, trembling with fear, grabbed his arm and cried out, "My love, how can you stay so calm? Don't you see how dangerous this is? Aren't you afraid we could die?" The sailor looked gently into her eyes. Then, without speaking, he slowly pulled out his sword and placed the sharp edge near her neck. Her body became still, but there was no fear in her eyes. Softly, he asked her, "You afraid now?" Through tears, she smiled and answered, "No, because I trust you. I know the sword is dangerous, but I also know your heart. You would never hurt me." The sailor smiled softly and whispered, That is exactly how I feel about this storm. It may look terrifying, but I trust the one who controls it. That is what true faith in God really means. It's not living without storms. It's carrying peace while standing inside the storm, because you trust the one holding your life in his hands. It doesn't matter how dark the sky becomes, how loud the thunder crashes, or how high the waves rise. If you trust God the way that woman trusted her husband, fear will not control you. Not because the situation feels safe, but because his love is greater than every storm you face. Now listen carefully. What should you do next? Here are 4 truths to carry with you. Simple advice, but reminders spoken through love itself. 1. Stop fighting your past. Release it. It's over. You do not need to rebuild what already collapsed. You need to stand up and move forward with new vision and a healed spirit. 2. Focus on your purpose, not the outcome. Stop obsessing over winning or losing. Stay committed to your responsibility. Be faithful in the work, not addicted to the results. Obedience creates miracles, and discipline brings peace into your life. 3. Surrender your future. It was never yours to control anyway. The future has always been uncertain, so why waste your soul worrying about something you cannot predict? Stay present. Stay faithful. Let God open the doors that were meant for you at the perfect moment. 4. Never forget this truth. Sometimes God destroys your plans because he saw they were about to destroy you. Do not cry over broken plans. Celebrate the divine protection you never noticed. You've already suffered enough. You've carried enough weight. Now, it's time to rise. Not with rage, not with bitterness, but with faith. Faith that you are not behind in life. Faith that nothing you endured was meaningless. Faith that every prayer was heard. And faith that something beautiful is coming toward you. Something designed specifically for your soul. Maybe you never saw the full picture, but now you've seen enough to believe. God was always working in silence, not behind your back, but behind the scenes. Not to delay your blessing, but to prepare you to receive it. And when it finally arrives, you'll be ready. Not because you understood every detail, but because you walked through the fire and refused to quit. So keep moving forward with peace in your heart, light in your spirit, and quiet confidence that God still has a purpose for your life. And if you stayed until the very end, then maybe this message was meant for you. Not just to hear, but to remind you of something powerful. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not too late. God is still writing your story, and the next chapter will be more beautiful than you can imagine. He will give you peace no one can steal. He will send blessings you never even asked for. And one day soon, he will place something into your life that you never expected, but always deserved. So don't lose hope. Keep going, keep trusting, and no matter how silent life feels, remember this: he is closer than ever. I pray you heal in places nobody can see. I pray you are guided whenever you feel lost. I pray you receive everything your soul has been waiting for. May God bless you with a peace beyond understanding and a future that finally feels like home. And if this video touched your heart, if it gave you even one answer, one tear, or one moment of peace, then I'm here for you. Whatever you want to ask, leave it in the comments. I read them, I reply to them, and I'll stay here as long as you need. And before you leave, remember this one final truth: God is not finished with you yet. What's coming into your life is so beautiful, you can't even imagine it right now.